Yo, how's it going, YouTube? I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about how the Denver Nuggets could be one of the most underrated teams in the NBA, and they could shock literally everyone. Now, this usually is a video people would probably make about someone like the Clippers, who just had a down year, but are going to obviously be better. But no one is really making that type of video for the Denver Nuggets. Now, that could be for a few reasons. They're a smaller name team, and then a lot of people might just not think that they're going to be that good next year. But I definitely think that the Denver Nuggets are going to make a ginormous jump. Now, am I saying they're going to win the NBA Finals next year? No. But I think they are going to be legitimate dark horse contenders going into next season if they're fully healthy once again. So I'm going to be getting into a lot of reasons why I think they're going to shock a lot of people. If that does sound interesting to you, please hit the like button and subscribe button. It would mean the absolute world to me. And without rambling on too much, just get right into this video. The first thing I want to get into for this video is going to be that they are finally going to be healthy. And I mean, when I say finally healthy, this was a very long time in the making. It hasn't felt, I don't think we've seen Jamal Murray since the bubble, since he's tore his ACL. He's just had setback after setback, and it's just been so long since we've seen Jamal Murray. And then Michael Porter Jr. just is always injured. And I mean, hopefully he can come back and be fully healthy going into this season. But I mean, that's a big if, but still, most likely they're going to start the season fully healthy for the first time in a very, very long time. So hopefully the Denver Nuggets can go from the Denver Cripples back to the Denver Nuggets, hopefully. And I mean, if they do that, then they're going to be looking very pretty, as Jamal Murray is an all-star level point guard when he is fully healthy. And when he last played, he was averaging 21 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, and 5 assists per game as well. So he will provide much needed shot creation and scoring alongside Nikola Jokic, especially when it comes to playoff time, because that is something that they have struggled with a lot since the playoffs have started. And when the playoffs do get around, yes, they have Jokic, who's one of the best players in the entire NBA. I think he just won back-to-back MVPs, but he just is not enough to get past the best of the best in the playoffs when it does come around without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. So Jamal Murray, an all-star level player, is going to help Nikola Jokic a ton when it comes to the playoffs next season. And then Michael Porter Jr., if he is healthy for the playoffs, is a very, very good player who's going to get you about 15 points per game. He's really, at this point in his career, an above average role player, and I think his ceiling is an all-star level player if he can stay healthy. So I think for sure, if both of them are there and you can recreate the big three of Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr., you have one of the better teams in the entire Western Conference. So really, just due to them being healthy again makes them a very good team, because last time we saw them fully healthy, I'm pretty sure they were making like the second or third round of the NBA playoffs. So they were no slouches when fully healthy, and now that they're going to get back to that finally after years and years of struggling trying to get back there, they are finally going to be healthy once again, and maybe, just maybe, they can be a very scary playoff team. But that is far from the only reason I have. Another reason is going to be that they've made some very underrated and solid free agent additions to this team. Now, although these free agent additions wouldn't matter if they were still the Denver Nuggets that were crippled and very hurt, like they were a victim of a war crime, but they are now going to be fully healthy, presumably, and assuming that this bug finally is going to stop biting them. These free agent moves, or these offseason moves, should I say, that not a lot of people focused on, could matter a lot more if this big three is healthy, as they have just traded for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Now, although KCP is pretty much the same player Monte Morris is, and probably evenly skilled as well, which is who they traded for KCP, I think for sure he's still going to be a very solid scorer and much needed shot creation by himself outside of their big three, which is a huge reason to why they were losing before. So I think they just wanted to shake something up, so they went in and got their guy Kentavious, and now hopefully he's going to be the veteran scorer that they need outside of the big three. But then they also got other very, very solid players. Bruce Brown is one of the better 3-and-D players in the entire NBA at this point, coming off their bench, and Bruce Brown is I love Bruce Brown as a player. He's very solid. He's going to do everything you want him to do, and he's just going to be an all-around utility type guy for them off of their bench. And then they also signed old man DeAndre Jordan. So although DeAndre Jordan is nowhere near what he ever once was, and he is on the very steep decline in his career, he's still a veteran leader that has been in winning situations before, that could help this team, this young team, play very good together. Nikola Jokic could learn a few things from DeAndre Jordan. You never know. Now, I'm not saying they're in any way similar in skill or how they play. I'm just saying DeAndre Jordan, as a vet, could teach him a few things. And then also DeAndre Jordan, just if he does get minutes, he's going to be a very solid rebounder, and he can just kind of fulfill minutes that the Nuggets need him to do. So although he's not a good player anymore. He is a solid veteran that a lot of teams that are trying to contend always love to have at the end of their bench. And then my last reason is going to be that they just have an all-around, very solid roster that no one really talks about. Because look at their starting five. Their starting five is most likely going to look like something like Jamal Murray, a borderline all-star level point guard who can score about 20 points a game, get his teammates involved, and just pretty much do everything. KCP, who they just traded for, a great veteran who can get his own shot when he needs to. He's a great scorer. He's just a very solid veteran. He's going to be very good on their starting lineup. Michael Porter Jr., a young, very athletic wing. He can do literally everything on a basketball court that you want him to do. He's a very good scorer when fully healthy, and is just one of the better small forwards in the entire league. Now, he's not top 15 or anything, but he's just a very, very solid, very young guy to have on your team, which is always fun to have. And then Aaron Gordon at the power forward position, a very extreme athletic power forward who can catch lobs, which is great for a guy like Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray to handle. He can shoot when he needs to. He can score when he needs to. He can really just do a little bit of everything at that forward position. And then obviously they have the Joker, the two-time MVP, best white guy to ever live in basketball terms, at least, Nikola Jokic. I mean, Nikola Jokic doesn't really need an introduction. Y'all all know who he is. But then, even outside of that very, very good, well-rounded starting lineup that could be one of the better ones in the entire NBA Western Conference going into next season, their bench players, like I kind of got into a little bit earlier, are no slouches either, as they do have second-year player in Bones Hyland, who had a very solid rookie year. He's very good on defense, can really just do everything. He's going to develop a little bit more, and I'm sure Hyland's going to have an even bigger role going into next season for the Denver Nuggets off their bench. And then they also have veterans like Jeff Green, who's a very solid player. He can do a little bit of everything. He's just a solid vet to have off your bench, plus other guys like DeAndre Jordan, who they just signed, Zeke Naji, who's very solid, another young guy as well, Bruce Brown, a very solid 3-and-D player, among other players to kind of round out their bench. But the main guys off their bench are very, very solid, and in the playoffs, that is huge. You have to have solid guys that are going to perform in the playoffs, and I think pretty much everyone on their bench, maybe outside of the young guys, you know for a fact is going to perform when playoff time comes around. So for sure, I think with how good this team is built right now and how all around they are when they're fully healthy, how okay the signings and free agency were, I think for sure this Denver Nuggets team could shock a lot of people going into next season. But I want to hear all your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you think the Denver Nuggets are going to be better than a lot of people think? Please comment all that below. I'm actually very curious to what y'all think. And if you do like the video, point to like button, subscribe button, would mean the absolute word to me. And I hope you have a blessed day, because I had a blessed day, so you need to have a blessed day. All glory to God. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah.